Senator Thomas M. Wyeth missed the vote on the 2020 Recovery Act because he needed to commit two crimes. First, he was heavily invested in Darden Pharmaceuticals, Inc., the maker of a coronavirus vaccine. In his D.C. office in the Dirksen Senate building, the senator had received terrible news. Darden Pharmaceuticals' Phase 1 trial had flopped because 8 human test subjects out of 18 had failed to develop antibodies to the virus after being injected twice with the vaccine. Darden Pharmaceutical hadn't yet released the news to the press. Senator Wyeth's $1.3 million investment in Darden stock was safe only until the report was released and the stock price came crashing down. He missed the Senate vote because he picked up his phone at 9:15 a.m., at the same time the vote was being recorded, and he made a call. He ordered his broker to sell his shares in Darden before the price crashed. This first crime was called insider trading. The call he placed was to his stockbroker, an owlish young man at Kemper Stock Brokerage on Wall Street in New York. The senator confirmed it was Joshua Deans on the other end, and then said 2 words: "Dump Darden." Stockbroker Deans replied, "Sell how much?" "Sell it all, now, as soon as the opening bell rings." "Done." "Senator Wyeth, I need to ask for other family clients. Why are you selling?" "Trouble. Bad trouble." "Does this mean I should sell your father's holdings too?" "You have power of attorney." "Yes, sell my father's." "And your brother?" "Yes, sell Jimmy's too." "Done and done. Is that all, sir?" "That's all. Goodbye." Senator Wyeth, his father, and his brother didn't make any money on their transactions. But, and here's the key point, they didn't lose money either when the stock plummeted, losing 50% of its value 7 minutes later after the news of the failed Phase 1 trial hit the wires. At that point, Darden Pharmaceuticals was no more. Sitting in his office and looking out on the Capitol reflecting pool, Senator Wyeth considered his situation. He knew that insider trading was a serious crime, investigated by the SEC and FBI, a crime that sent many people to prison for long terms. He also knew that trading on his inside information about the failed Phase 1 trial before the general investing public got word was classic insider trading. He was now looking at 10 years in prison if word got out. But how would word get out? How it could get out was simple enough. Senator Wyeth's inside tip of the Phase 1 trial failure came from his wife, Dee Dee. Her father was the chief medical officer of Darden Pharmaceutical. He was responsible for the Phase 1 trial. At a family dinner the night before, where Dee Dee and her sisters had their monthly dinner with their parents in California, her father had let slip the news of the failed trial. It had come up when one of the girls had asked their mother why their father was so inordinately quiet at dinner. Her mother had revealed that Dad was having a bad day because of the news from work. The daughters had then pumped their father until he told them just why he was depressed. It was news that Dee Dee took to Senator Wyeth when she called him in D.C. that night. "I thought you should know," she said. Wyeth's hair had stood up on the back of his neck in alarm. The stock exchange opened at 9:30. He would have his sell order executed by 9:31 before the news hit the street about the failure. This was all bad enough. But then the whole insider trading problem became much more dangerous to the senator because he and Dee Dee had fallen out of love and would live together only until the day after the November election. Theirs was a loveless marriage. He had his romance on the side. Dee Dee had her violin and music to keep her busy and was involved with her people away from home. Divorce was a certainty. Property settlement and the division of assets were way up in the air. Wyeth had his property from life before Dee Dee, as did she before him. But where he had $5,000 net worth before the marriage, her net worth coming into the marriage was $10 million. After 20 years, it was still considerably out of balance. He feared she was going to convince some judge to award her money back to her, which she was entitled to under the law. And when the judge did, Wyeth would lose half of everything he'd worked for 20 years to accomplish with her money. It was complicated, but her money had grown because of the joint efforts of the marriage rather than by his efforts alone.
To keep listening to this audiobook, I've left you a link in the description so you can do it, at no cost thanks to Audible's 30-day free trial.